All right, so let's get right into it. Today, we're going to take a look inside the formation of a grassroots movement in Milwaukee. And what's so incredible about this story is that we get to see it all unfold in their own words, from their actual organizing meetings as they build this thing right from the ground up. And this is the statement that really kicks everything off. It's from Walter Lanier, one of the leaders of the group. It's such a blunt, painful assessment, but it's crucial because it immediately sets the stakes. It frames the core problem that brought all these men together, a crisis of leadership. So you have to ask, where does a statement like that even come from? It's not just, a gut feeling. It's actually rooted in some pretty stark data. And to really get what this movement is all about, you have to understand the numbers. What Lanier is referencing is research from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. They looked at 50 major U.S. cities and analyzed dozens and dozens of data points. And the findings? They consistently put Milwaukee at or very near the bottom for its Black residents. This isn't just one mad statistic, it's a systemic crisis. But here's what's so interesting about the group's diagnosis of the problem. They're absolutely clear on this. This isn't about a lack of talent in the community or a lack of heart, not at all. For them, the missing ingredient, the piece of the puzzle that's been gone, is organized collective leadership, people who are willing to step up and work together. So, how do you build that collective leadership? Well, their first step wasn't about strategy meetings or writing policy papers. It was about something way more fundamental, building a real human connection. It all starts with this simple question. Before they get down to any business in their meetings, they check in with each other. And it's not just a formality, going through the motions. It's a genuine question about each other's well-being, and it creates a space for real honesty. And this anecdote just shows you exactly why that space is so critical. One member opens up about a health diagnosis, and he's scared. He then learns his close friend has been living with a similar condition for years but just never mentioned it, and his response is so powerful. Your story helps me. We need to have these conversations. It's about creating a support system right there where one just didn't exist before. And that personal support, it feeds directly into their political strategy. As Lanier explains it, if you show up to a fight by yourself, you can be ignored, dismissed. But if you show up together, you can't be marginalized. That brotherhood becomes the foundation for building real power. So once you have that brotherhood, the next challenge is, how do you turn that fellowship into a focused, effective organization? And well, like with any new group, that brings on some healthy debate. As the group got bigger, a natural tension came up. How do we take all this energy and actually translate it into action? They had a really candid discussion about what to do next, and two clear perspectives started to come forward. On the one hand, some guys felt they needed a big, convention-style meeting to really dive deep, understand everyone's skills, and see who was truly committed. But on the other hand, a different perspective popped up. Wait a minute, we've already done that. We know who's in the room. What we need now is a task. We need instructions. It's time to get to work. One member, Mark Wade, put it perfectly with this brilliant analogy. He said the next big meeting should just be about action. Set up stations. Over here, we're going to be painting houses. Over there, we're going to be pouring milk. People with paintbrushes, you go to one side. People with milk cartons, you go to the other. It's such a simple metaphor for a really powerful idea. Organize people around specific, tangible tasks. And that task-oriented vision, it won out. From these discussions, a formal structure finally emerged, a multi-front strategy to tackle the city's challenges head-on. So their solution was to create 4 core committees, each one targeting a critical area. They formed a youth and education committee for the schools, a men's health committee to continue those crucial conversations, a Black wealth and economics group for financial empowerment, and a civic action committee to organize voters and hold leaders accountable. But their strategy had another really smart component: efficiency. They made it a core principle not to reinvent the wheel. Instead of creating new programs from scratch, their goal is to act as a hub, to identify organizations that are already doing good work and then dispatch their members to support and amplify those efforts. So, where is all of this heading? What is the ultimate vision for this group? Well, it all comes down to one word: power. And so far, even in its early stages, the group has already touched the lives of over 400 men in Milwaukee. That number just represents the scale of their connection and the growing network they're building, man by man. This quote really gets to the heart of their theory of change. The simple act of showing up together, 5, 10, 15 men, shoulder to shoulder, at a school board meeting, it fundamentally changes the dynamic in a room before anyone even says a word. Presence itself is a form of power. And that's the end game, to move from just being present to having an agenda, to translate that collective power into a unified voice that can make requests of the city's leadership, and when necessary, make demands. It's about moving from conversation to concrete change. And this leaves us with a final, crucial question. The story of these men in Milwaukee, it's still being written, but it forces us to ask, what truly happens when a community, tired of waiting, decides to stop asking for power and starts organizing it for themselves?